Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you all here. I think if we can keep this short, we'll take it before the thunderstorm comes over. Welcome to the dedication ceremony for Wecker Hall. This is a great day. Yes. This is a great day for the Air Force Academy Foundation, the Association of Graduates, and by extension, the Academy we support. Today, we celebrate an important milestone in our organization and for the foundation especially. And we have the opportunity to acknowledge the generosity and hard work of many. Before we begin, a few introductions. Of course, because we're short on time, I can only announce a few individuals that are with us today. Let me begin. First, we are honored to be joined by the 22nd Superintendent the United States Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Tony Bauernfeind, class of 1991, his wife Tricia. We welcome the namesake of the new headquarters building, Dr. William E. Wecker, class of 1963. Hear, hear. He is joined today by his daughter Marla and his granddaughter Kate. We're honored, too, by the attendance of Mr. R. David Yost, class of 1969, who, along with his wife Jean, are the contributors of this lovely plaza to our left, connecting Wecker Hall and Doolittle Hall. Also with us today, the chair of the Board of Directors of the Air Force Academy Foundation, Mr. Alex Gilbert, class of 1987, and members of the Foundation Board. We welcome the chair of the Board of Directors of the Association of Graduates, Lieutenant Colonel retired Kathy Allman, class of 1990, and the members of the AOG Board. And finally, senior representatives from our valued Academy nonprofit partners, General retired Steve Lorenz, class of 1973, president of the Falcon Foundation. And Lieutenant General retired Chris Miller, class of 1980, CEO of the Academy Research and Development Institute. We're honored to have you all here with us today. So introductions now complete, and at the specific request of the lead donor to this project, today's ceremony will be brief and free of any unnecessary ornamentation. That said, I do have some history to cover. Because despite the headlines, this is not, in fact, the first headquarters building of the Air Force Academy Foundation. Yes, the foundation has actually designated several different locations as its headquarters over the last 17 years. The first official home of the foundation was a sublease office at 1975 Research Parkway, east of I-25. The office was across the hall from a title insurance company, upstairs from a dentist, and was conveniently located within walking distance of a Taco Bell. I was there. Second official headquarters was the former chaplain's home, south of Saigon Hall, a structure that has since been demolished. It featured a quiet, lovely location near the cadet area and a basement that flooded seasonally. The third home was a loading dock at the Academy's transportation depot, and the fourth, the most elegant by far, the headquarters building of the 10th Air Base Wing. From the start, we had the hope of something beyond that nomadic lifestyle, and now today, here we are, to dedicate a permanent headquarters on this campus, surrounded by a beautiful plaza that connects us to our heritage and our future. On a day like this, we naturally have many individuals to recognize, beginning with our visionary and generous donors. First, to Bill Wecker and his late wife, Mary Linn. Bill and Mary Linn nurtured and supported the concept of the foundation from the very start. In fact, Bill is officially the first member of the foundation board alongside co-founder Terry Drabant, class of 1965. So when the time came to get serious about a long-envisioned headquarters, it was entirely fitting that Bill and Mary Linn stepped forward to make it possible. Bill, we thank you for your vision and unwavering support. We miss Mary Linn, and we believe that she's very proud of what you've made possible here today. Thank you. But like any great undertaking, there's always a need for a second superstar. And so it was that Dave Yost and his wife Jean would see and respond to the need for a great plaza to connect our two headquarters buildings. We will dedicate Yost Plaza early next year with the completion of the 4-ton stainless steel Academy ring display that's over to my left. A few other thank yous before I turn the podium over to others. To our architect RTA, especially our lead designer for this project, Christine Costa, along with Kevin Gould, Anne-Marie Jackson, and Paul Rue. To our general contractors, Saunders Norwood, especially Justin Cooper, Zach Paluca, Cassie Bonner, and Nathan Wilkes. Thank you. To our internal project team, led by our unstoppable CFO, Katie Willemark, and our owner's representative, Chris Grundy, and of course, our dynamic facilities and construction lead, Chris Mazurek. Thank you all. Our staff, especially Toby Lortz, the IT team, Molly Staley, and the move-in committee, our facilities team, Kenny D'Amico and John Smock, and every individual that participated in this design, construction, and move. And finally, to the intellectual horsepower behind this effort, our project subcommittee, including Bill Wecker, Dave Yost, Jack Kuchera, Colonel Tom Stein, and chaired by Major General retired Gene Lupia. Thank you for leading this project. All right, now I've got to say a word about our contributors because, of course, I'm a fundraiser. This project is unique. I don't know who wakes up in the morning and says to themselves, you know what, I'd like to give to an office building today. The answer is, of course, those individuals that understand and appreciate the current and future impact of an organization like ours. It's, in fact, those closest to the mission. So it is that many of our gifts, in fact, almost all of them, came from our foundation directors who understood the virtue of this project and chose to invest. To all of our donors, thank you. Thank you. Now it's my privilege to introduce the presiding official for today, the 22nd Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy, Lieutenant General Tony Bauernfeind. Sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful occasion, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of this incredible USAFA team. When I look back over the last 24 hours, it's been a whirlwind of experiences. From being with cadets in full chem gear, defending a base, to conducting a land nav to rescue a downed airman, to then taking a pause to recognize two of our newest distinguished graduates and highlighting the impact that they have had on our long blue line, and we will also recognize them tonight. To this morning, being there for the march back as we brought back over 1,100 class of 2029 amazing young Americans after they fully crushed Jacks Valley. And they are bringing the energy, the precision, the professionalism that our nation needs. And now to be a part, again, of recognizing great teammates that continue to give back to our wonderful institution. And a couple warnings. So, I look forward to, in April, talking more about Mr. Yost as we go forward. But with the delay, I'll delay those. And Dr. Wecker, I love, this is an amazingly beautiful building, but I'm already hearing of a spirit mission where a single brick may be painted the appropriate color of gold. Just saying, it just may happen, Dr. Wecker. But what I really wanted to emphasize was how Dr. Wecker and Mary Linn are an example. They are an exemplar for all of us and for the generations to come. And as we have updated our priorities at the United States Air Force Academy, our priorities are to forge warfighters to win, to inspire leaders of character and quality, and to motivate critical thinkers to adapt. and Dr. Wecker, I would offer that you and Mary Lynn were examples of all three. As we like to say in the military, we will recruit the individual, but we retain the family, and it's the family that fights. You and Mary Lynn were warfighters. You went forward and served our nation in Vietnam and did it with exceptional professionalism and precision. That was defending our nation. And as you went forward, Mary Lynn was keeping the home fires burning. And as a leader of character and quality, you have displayed that, both of you, through your whole lives. But you've given back not only to your family, but to our institution by your continued involvement with our Center of Character and Leadership Development, as well as your involvement with our athletic department as we bring those warfighting skills and those character developing opportunities forward for us. And then finally, as a critical thinker to adapt, I think you're a phenomenal example of that. I don't know too many high school students that say, high school's not good enough for me. I'm just going to walk down to the University of Michigan and take on new challenges. And you continue to challenge yourself not only in our Air Force, but as you went to the University of Chicago and Stanford and poured back into our future generations, just like you're pouring now. Because it's your vision, your philanthropic support, and your continued involvement that are making us better and preparing our future generations to stand guard and make sure no adversaries ever test this great nation. So thank you again for allowing me to be a small part of this dedication. And I wanted to say to the Association of Graduates, the foundation, and everyone involved, thank you for your continued support to our academy. Thank you.
Thank you, General Bauernfeind. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. William Wecker to the podium for a lecture on, and this is actually the paper he wrote, the Signal Extraction Approach to Nonlinear Regression and Spline Smoothing. Professor.
18 years ago, Mark said 17, one of us is wrong. 18 years ago, in July 2007, Terry Drabant and I had a really good idea. We thought to start a fundraising foundation to bring transformative financial support to the Academy. That's not the really good idea. The really good idea was the design of the foundation. It was a design that worked, and I want to tell you about it. The design problem was not an easy one. There are thousands of IRS-recognized charitable foundations. Very few of them are successful. The AOG made some attempts in this direction. Terry and I were part of those efforts as members of the AOG Campaign Steering Committee. We had some success, but nothing spectacular. We wanted spectacular success. How could we make that happen? Perhaps we thought we could copy what other successful fundraising foundations were doing. I was familiar with the University of Chicago and Stanford fundraising practices because I worked at those universities for nearly 20 years. I could see what they had that made them successful. I could also see that what they had we could not hope to have. First, they each started life with an enormous gift, equivalent to hundreds of millions of dollars in today's terms, sufficient to build and staff an entire university and fund it for years. Stanford had Leland Stanford, Chicago had John D. Rockefeller. Second, they each had a 100-year track record so prospective donors could gain confidence from the knowledge that previous major gifts had been used efficiently and as the donor intended. Third, they had a large professional fundraising staff who knew how to conduct fundraising operations. We were a startup with no John D. Rockefeller, no 100-year track record, no staff, and no money. Things were not looking good. If we were going to pull this off, we needed a really good idea. On the positive side, we knew that many graduates had the ability to make a major gift, say $1 million or more. And we knew those same graduates were positively disposed toward the academy. Heck, we were 2 of them. So what was holding us back? If we could understand that and overcome it, we might be successful. The answer became clear. We were holding back because we were concerned that if we wrote a check for $1 million, the $1 million would disappear into a black hole. We'd have no idea how it was spent, how much was consumed by overhead, no way to ensure that our intent in making the gift was efficiently carried out. This was the nut we had to crack. Merely promising that we would use a donor's large gift efficiently and as intended wouldn't work. Promises, as you all know, are a dime a dozen. And we were a startup with no track record. Why would anyone believe our promise? Answer, they wouldn't. So what to do? And then a miracle occurred. We landed on the idea of the founding director. If a donor made a major gift to the Academy with a specific intended use for that gift, we would offer them the opportunity to join the board of directors of the foundation. As a founding director, they would have full visibility into the use of their gift. We crafted bylaws to ensure that the board of directors would have complete control over the affairs of the foundation. The founding directors could not be outvoted or marginalized because the bylaws ensured that the board would be made up almost entirely of other major donors with a common interest, that their gift and the gift of others would be used efficiently and as intended. Our new foundation became the guardians of donor intent. It worked. The money started rolling in. We thought we had it nailed. Then, like any good idea, even the best of good ideas, when an idea is put into practice, situations arise that the idea had not anticipated. And so it was with our very good idea. Now, the adults in the audience, they know this already. The younger members of the audience, I suggest you take notes. Disaster. Disaster struck our first major gift to the Academy, the Holiday Athletic Center. We had a design for a building, and with important contributions from Bart Holliday, we had the money to build it, or so we thought. But the construction bids came in hugely in excess of the money we had. We were completely snookered. We began by wringing our hands, looking around. And then we lowered our gaze, and when we lowered our gaze, poof, there was the solution. Founding director Gene Lupia. Gene knew how to build things on time, on budget, and at a very much lower cost than the Corps of Engineers. So instead of giving money to the Academy, who would then give it to the US Treasury, who would then give it to the Corps of Engineers, who would then give it to contractors, who would then build the athletic center, we would build it ourselves. And then we would give the completed building to the Academy. We found ourselves in the construction business, something we had never expected to be in. We now have completed, thanks to Gene, 14 major construction projects on time and on budget. And you will see for yourselves today the quality of the construction and furnishings that the foundation, thanks to Gene, is able to produce. Now, not all unanticipated situations are bad. Some are good. And when those situations occur, the solution is to embrace them, to take advantage of them. Younger members, take note of that too. And so, double poof, a second miracle occurred. The second miracle was that Gene was not the only talented founding director. Other founding directors stepped forward with their own exceptional talents and their own good ideas. Here are just a few. Paul Kaminsky and John Fox had the idea of an Institute for Future Conflict. Dick McCann and Paul Madera had the idea of a Cyber Innovation Center. John Martinson had the idea of an honors program. Dan Schneff had the idea for a hotel and visitor center, a $250 million project. And when you see Polaris Hall, with the towering glass structure pointed at the North Star, you can thank Max James, who had the idea of an architectural competition that achieved this truly iconic result. We thought we were creating a fundraising operation. We ended up creating a fundraising and idea-generating operation that was also in the construction business. But fundraising has always been the foundation's primary purpose. So you might ask, how have we done with fundraising? Answer, the foundation has raised, since July 2007, more than $480 million. And we've done so at a remarkably low fundraising cost of 10%. I don't know of anybody that can do that. Poof, we set out to do it, and we did it. And we're not finished. Planning is now underway to increase the total fundraising amount to more than $1 billion. I hope I will see you all here in a few short years when we will celebrate the foundation's achievement of the $1 billion mark. But there's even more to this story, and that's what brings us together today. The staff. We started with no staff at all. Then we hired Mark and Jimmy Martello, and off they merrily went to see prospective founding directors. Their foundation message met with instant success, but success brought new problems. We had to keep track of the money. We had to manage the construction projects. If we were going to be the guardians of donor intent, we needed professionals in accounting, marketing, communications, and general management. We needed a professional staff, and now we have one. The reason we are here today is to finally, after nearly 20 years, provide a quality working environment that is the quality that this professional staff, who are indispensable to the foundation, ought to have. Molly, it's your turn. Stay. We are obstructed only by a ribbon, which we will shortly dispatch. Then Mark, with this symbol of his great authority, will ask the staff to assemble and join him as he enters the new foundation headquarters building. Goes to Mark. The rest of us will follow. Thank you.
Well, I've never felt so powerful. This is really incredible. Bill, I would ask that your family come forward for a special presentation. Kelly's going to help unveil a painting by Glory Paulson, class of 2002, who has painted an image, an original of Wecker Hall. So over there, please. Okay, now it's time to officially, Bill, you're not done yet. Now you've got to do the ribbon. Officially time to cut the ribbon. I invite forward Bill Wecker, Alex Gilbert, Kathy Allman, and General Bauernfeind forward as we do the honors. Following this, there's some instructions here. We will take a few photos with members of the foundation and AOG boards in turn. Then at Bill's request, the staff will proceed with my staff in hand into the new building. At that time, we invite the boards of the foundation and the AOG, along with everyone here, to follow us inside for tours and refreshments.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Foundation board, please come forward. Then AOG board will take a quick set of photos.
One more. All right. All right. One more.
Well, this concludes our ceremony now. I'm supposed to raise this high as Charlton Heston did. And if the staff will come in first, everyone else follow us in, please, for refreshments and tours. Thank you all for coming.
Appreciate it. Yeah, good job. You want to go ahead of me?